No man is an island, no man stands alone. A popular old saying that's still true today. We do need each other to grow and develop. The government recognizes this, and today on Jamaica Magazine we share practical ways in which the government is engaging communities to transform the nation. I'm Arroyo Eubanks, welcome to the show. Coming up, beating versus beat up, exploring the controversial issue of corporal punishment. Parents attending a recent community parenting forum got some good advice. We'll share the highlights from that session hosted by the National Parenting Support Commission. Plus, the police and community are uniting for change in Central Village to fight crime. We'll have the details in this half hour, but first, the news.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your GIS News for Tuesday, July 8. Government has made a critical step towards allowing persons charged with possession of or smoking small quantities of ganja to have their criminal records expunged or cleared. On Friday, July 4, the Upper House of Parliament approved the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Act 2014. The act was last reviewed in 1988 and the bill to amend its provisions was piloted in the Senate by Justice Minister Mark Golding, who made it clear the amendment did not provide for automatic expungement.
It establishes a Criminal Records Rehabilitation Board which reviews all applications for expungement, and expungement is discretionary, it is not as of right.
Persons will be able to apply to that board without waiting for any expiration period relating to their sentence. This bill is among government's efforts to effectively regulate marijuana use in Jamaica, while ensuring that citizens are not excessively penalized for minor offenses. Government's ultimate aim is to make the possession of small quantities of ganja for personal use a ticketable offense that will not attract a criminal record. The Agriculture Ministry is pushing forward with plans for the full rollout of its 9 agri-parks across the island by 2015. 4 of 5 contracts valued at over $500 million were recently signed to facilitate infrastructure works on 3 of the agri-parks over the next 12 months. The projects are being carried out under the Ministry's Agricultural Competitiveness Program, which is funded by the Inter-American Development Bank (IDB). The work involves the construction of stormwater channels and access roads at Spring Plain, Ebony Park in Clarendon, New Forest Duff House in Manchester, and Yallas in St. Thomas. A packaging facility is also to be constructed at New Forest Duff House, while irrigation pipes and fittings are to be installed at Spring Plain, Ebony Park.
Our work in the agri-parks is not just about the provision of infrastructure, it is about increasing agricultural production and marketing.
Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce Anthony Hilton is asserting that wider and affordable access to telecommunication services will allow businesses to compete in the domestic and international markets more effectively.
Competitiveness in the international economy is dependent to a large extent on the deployment of innovative communication solutions, which in turn will be dependent on continuous network modernization or development in the sector.
He says this is why government has been working to improve the efficiency of the telecommunications sector. Measures include the Jamaica Internet Exchange Point IXP, which is to be implemented by the end of this month, allowing local internet service providers to connect their networks and exchange traffic locally at a reduced cost. The minister was speaking at the recent launch of Columbus Business Solutions hosted PBX product, a new cloud-based communication solution. The Trinityville Health Center in St. Thomas has been refurbished and officially reopened following damage to the building by Hurricane Sandy 2 years ago. The National Health Fund provided $3.5 million in funding to replace the roof, tile the floors and paint the walls. Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson says projects such as this one support the Vision 2030 national health goals.
When we have improvement in the health sector, we have improvement in the productivity of our citizens. When we have improvement in the productivity of our citizens, it means that we are on our way to world-class development.
Dr. Ferguson says the reopening of the Type 2 Center will ease the burden placed on other institutions that filled the gap during its closure. Residents of Central Village and surrounding communities in St. Catherine are now benefiting from the construction of a new multipurpose center. The work was completed in May under the Jamaica Social Investment Fund's Inner City Basic Services project, and it will be managed by the Red Cross. It boasts a multipurpose court, main hall, commercial or workshop spaces, office and kitchen, among other features. On land provided by the Jamaica Red Cross, the facility was built with $115.8 million in financing from the World Bank and $6.1 million from residents.
Many times we came here and we spoke about the social responsibility of the community itself to make these things happen. We'd like to congratulate, not us, not Joseph and others, but the people of the Central Village for making this happen.
And finally, government continues to support measures aimed at reducing harmful emissions in the environment and encouraging cleaner and more efficient use of fuel. A year since the launch of Petrojam's ultra-low sulfur diesel, private sector company Rubis is following suit. The new petrol line Ultratech embraces government's objective to lower exhaust emissions and support a more fuel-efficient auto fleet. Pointing out that oil import costs the country $2.25 billion a year, Energy State Minister Julian Robertson says this product is consistent with the government's goal to cut back on oil consumption.
Anything which allows us to cut back on the consumption of oil, anything which allows us to reduce the harmful emissions is consistent and are consistent with our own goals.
And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
What are you doing to help the fight against crime?
Sitting on the corner, minding your own business, definitely not going to work.
It is time for us to unite.
Unite.
Unite for change.
Citizens coming together to make their respective communities safer. The police, schools, public health, business, churches, NGOs, parents and neighborhood watch volunteers.
As we, the police, do our job,
we as citizens need to do our part as well.
Report crimes or even suspicious activities.
Let's all work together
as one united front against crime.
And make Jamaica the place of choice to
live, work, raise families, and do business.
Unite for Change, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security.
Ever heard the saying, don't spare the rod and spoil the child? Many people take it to mean that corporal punishment is the way to ensure that children are raised right. That issue was addressed at a parenting forum held last week. The big question was, are we simply beating our children or actually beating them up? Let's catch some highlights from that forum.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister. She could be the next prime minister. I say if you watch what you saying to me daughter, cause in the long run she could be your doctor.
Should you beat them? Should you not beat them? Beating versus beat up.
This year, we are on a journey towards helping parents with effective parenting. We are here to support parents through education, through making you more aware, through research, resources. We're bringing to you our first in a series of community forums, dubbed Disciplining a Child in an Age-Appropriate Way. Why? We've been getting a lot of calls from parents saying that their children are just driving them crazy. They just don't know what to do. What we want to do is empower you so that you can go back to your communities and pass on the message.
Coming from a scriptural perspective, and I want to use one of the most provocative texts that I think many persons misunderstand. And that is Proverbs chapter 13:24. Whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. The rod has been mistaken many times. I do believe and I do share that, yes, a child can be spanked, but it must be properly done. It must be done out of love and not through anger. If a parent is angry, I don't think at any time the child should be touched. The child must be disciplined with love.
What the research, I mean Jamaican research says is that children who are beaten are also more likely to be very aggressive. Now, at UNICEF, we don't subscribe to the beating or beat up philosophy. We don't think there is a choice. We think discipline should be about developing the child. And the research suggests that physical punishment, including beating, don't help in that regard.
My mother never understood what it was to have a light hand. You know that like what them say, yo, drive a foot, them heavy on the pedal. Why? So floor, she floor it. And so, my siblings and I experienced abuse at the highest levels. Whether it was from the knife, from teeth in Akita to the pot, and then she push her hand in there and say enough teeth, which I thought were common mischief that any child would commit. My mother died when I was 9. My brother a year before. Brother was bad man and thing, and we go crush her ends and him get shot. 3 shots, and he died in front of me. And so, as a child, I had experienced so much hurt. Not just from the physical pain, but the emotional hurt as well. After my mother died, I was living on the street for about a year and a half. But I can say right now that because of the Child Development Agency, I'm able to stand where I am without being incarcerated or dead right now. And so life took a turn for the better. So push your children, encourage your children, love your children.
If you need to make a report, you hear that a child has been, is being, or is likely to be abused sexually, physically, emotionally, or is in need of care and protection, you may call the Office of the Children's Advocate, or you can call the OCR at 1-888-PROTECT, and they will ensure that the matter is passed on to the relevant agency for investigation.
Right now, if my child do something bad, I'm gonna beat her. So are you saying not to hit her? Because I'm not saying, I say it's discipline, you know, because being honest, it feels like a cultural thing. Once you're rude, you get beaten.
You do not need to hit your child. I would wonder why you need to hit her. You're about 8 times her body weight. If a man 8 times your body weight hits you, what would you do? If you teach your child to receive blows from you, you're teaching your child to receive blows from anyone.
I would like to know how you go about teenagers who are in school smoking and hard drugs and those things. How you go about
behavior?
How you go about schooling those?
The first thing to do is get that child to a counselor, because there's a reason why they would have started abusing drugs. There's always a reason, either through peer pressure or access, or it's a family thing.
A counselor. In this society, almost everything costs money. Enough parents don't have it.
All right, there are some free clinics around, I can tell you about them. There is the Child Guidance Clinic, and there are many child guidance clinics all over the island. Many of them are actually attached to the hospital.
Sometimes it involves taking them to this police station and let the police give them a verbal warning, let them know that you are serious.
So simple things like timeout, right? Where they have to go, if a child is 2 years old and has done something which is not within the rules of the household, that child is asked to stand in a corner, sit in a special chair, go to a place for usually it's a number of minutes related to the age of the child. So a 2-year-old, 2 minutes quiet time, no talking, nothing.
What we want you to recognize is that you don't need to slap the child at all. What we want you to do is create a disciplinary structure around the child from that child is at infant stage so that that disciplinary structure grows with your child.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them.
It keeps our bodies working, our food nutritious, our living and working spaces clean, and our lives comfortable. Water, the most precious resource necessary for the sustenance of life on our planet. Don't waste it. Let's conserve on this critical commodity. In the house, invest in storage containers and buckets. Take quick showers instead of long baths, and invest in water-efficient shower heads, toilets, and faucets. You may also want to consider one-pot meals and cooking methods that don't require much water. You could also wash fruits and vegetables in a bowl and reuse the water on your plants or grass. When cleaning dishes, fill both sinks and use one for washing and the other for rinsing. The leftover water can be used to wash off the concrete or asphalt in your yard. If you must wash your car at home, aim for once a fortnight and use a bucket to do the washing instead of running the hose. Don't delay. Start your water conservation practices today.
As we continue to focus on government's community approach to national development, we look now at steps being taken to care for the most vulnerable in the parish of Clarendon.
This is a typical Tuesday afternoon for volunteers from the Clarendon Poor Relief Department, combing the streets of the Maypen town, ensuring that homeless persons are given a hot meal. It's just one of the services offered to the poor and destitute, not only in Clarendon, but island-wide. The duty to support the welfare of the nation's poor falls within the Board of Supervision, an agency under the Ministry of Local Government. In each parish, programs are coordinated by the parish councils and the poor relief departments.
We really supervise homeless programs across the island, working with parish councils and also NGOs who deliver services to those who are homeless. We want to ensure that these services are delivered in the acceptable standard, that persons are rehabilitated and are able to contribute to community development.
Working with state and private sector partners, administrators at the Board of Supervision try to provide relief to the homeless, residents of infirmaries and persons living in substandard conditions at personal residences.
We have outdoor persons on the outdoor, persons who we actually assist, and they live in their communities. They need food, they need medical attention and housing and assistance for children. We give an allowance. Once a person is relieved, then automatically they should be assisted by the PASS program.
A country that doesn't care for the old and the less fortunate is not a country which is moving in the right direction. And a council which is not doing the same is not a council which is moving in the right direction.
The last survey of homeless persons conducted in November 2013 captured 77 of them in Clarendon, making it the parish with the third largest homeless population. So poor relief officers have seen the need to beef up their services in the area. A new poor relief office was opened in Rock River in February 2014. That's in addition to 8 other offices scattered across the parish to ensure officers stay close to the communities they serve. Persons who require assistance can visit the nearest poor relief department, get registered, and wait for a home visit to determine the nature of assistance needed. In addition to that, there's a poor relief committee that works to craft additional programs.
We meet monthly, and whatever we discuss, we notice that there's a lot of improvement at the infirmary and other places around the parish regarding the poor.
This is one initiative that resulted from those meetings, the opening of an activities center at the parish's infirmary.
Persons tend to underestimate the importance of elderly persons having things to do and contributing to their whole living, their whole livelihood. So we really appreciate and endorse this move.
We've always had residents who do bits and pieces of activity, but then I think if we have it more coordinated, and there's an activity director here, and I think it's a base for her where she can gather all her active residents. They're in one location.
Some have varying levels of ability. So maybe they can crochet, they can use the sewing machine. There's a man here that can make shoes or mats out of the banana bark. They might just want to come in and read editorial in the paper or just do a little painting. But whoever can be engaged to whatever degree, this is the center that they ought to go to. And this will be improved as time goes by.
Added to the $1.3 million spent to upgrade the physical structure of the infirmary in 2013, the center's opening represents another step in the modernization of services to the less fortunate. And the administrators are careful to not neglect the general health of the infirmary's over 138 residents. To ensure they keep in tip-top shape, a weekly schedule of consultations is rotated with a medical professional.
We've got persons with different conditions, hypertensive, diabetic, cardiac, cosmetics, and all that. So doctor couldn't have seen like X amount of person within a day. So based on that, then he has to come like once per week to ensure that over a period of time, all the residents are seen and treated.
And just next door, the parish council has identified a building which it will be developing as a homeless shelter.
Our vision in Clarendon is to have a center where those persons can be able to be examined by a medical practitioner, can be able to have a bath, a change of clothes, and even try to re-socialize with society.
Clarendon is able to do all this with the assistance of subventions from the local government and labour ministries, as well as the kind support of its partners. Similar programs exist in all parishes, so if you need assistance or know someone who does, don't hesitate to contact the Board of Supervision, 85 Halfway Tree Road, Kingston 10, telephone 754-0992-9.
The Unite for Change campaign aims to empower every citizen to take back Jamaica from the clutches of criminal elements. And so far, it's making inroads in inner city communities. Let's look at the progress being made in Central Village, St. Catherine.
The Ministry of National Security has taken note of Mandela's words. Sport has the power to change the world, to inspire and unite people. So in conjunction with a number of non-governmental organizations, the police, churches and community members, the National Security Ministry is using its Unite for Change campaign to organize Corner League football competitions as part of a series of interventions in violence-prone communities. Central Village is one such community moving full speed ahead with the initiative, organizing Football Sundays, a combination of football, netball and counseling sessions for children to promote peace in the community.
I came here at first and saw this field, and I know this field. This field was a battlefield instead of a play field.
But things have changed for community members. The field is now what they term a business field for teams participating in the 7-a-side knockout competition. Each team enters with $1,400 and the winner receives $15,000, bragging rights, and the Unite for Change trophy from the Ministry of National Security.
You're stupid now. Oh, still cool, man. Here's Alden in a shot.
The football teams in Central Village are apparently huge fans of popular clubs in Spain's La Liga football competition and the English Premier League in England. They proudly sported the jersey templates of teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester City and Arsenal. But of course, they have their own unique names: Image, Riverbank, Macatree, Slash Dash, Anytime, and River Plate, just to name a few. They may not have much in terms of infrastructure, and some may be physically challenged, but they are not deterred. All are determined to do great things with little. Just ask this 14-year-old captain.
We play good.
Which position you play?
Forward. I would like to compete. And we love winning.
Here is Grandmouth. Oh! Grandmouth scored that one!
The females in Central Village have also risen to the occasion, forming special bonds through a game of netball. The sporting competitions have breathed new life into the St. Catherine community, bringing out scores of individuals on Sundays to socialize and restore peace. Even the animals seem contented.
Everybody's at peace. Big Lane and Little Lane that used to war, there are no war anymore, and I congratulate the police as well and the people who take part.
It's wonderful. We can come out, we can have fun, we can just do about what the Lord has set us to do on earth. Enjoy ourselves and be glad and happy.
Boys and girls who normally used to be involved in, hating each other, cursing, fighting and all these things, have been united since this. So it's something that is very good for the community.
The children are not left out of the peace-building equation. The group Children First has been conducting interactive sessions with the youngsters, offering counseling and promoting conflict resolution.
We use activities to let them express themselves. When we get the messages out, we come up with possible solutions of how they, them as children can be agents of change within their community.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words.
I want peace in my community. Peace, love and unity.
National Security Minister Peter Bunting has been in Central Village to witness the activities and seems quite impressed with the peace-building initiatives.
I believe we can do it and we must do it. Otherwise, we're not going to get the type of development that we need to create jobs and get prosperous communities going.
The goal now is to sustain the program, and that's where the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, will come into play.
Out of all these programs, we see where persons can traverse anywhere they want to go in the community, and we see a level of unity.
The Violence Prevention Alliance will also be monitoring the activities.
Is the crime really going down in the community? Is there a commitment towards building that peace?
Corporate Jamaica is invited to come on board and help the residents in Central Village develop a structured sports program and other amenities needed for social upliftment.
Even though we had a whole lot of war in our past, we can live together and come back together and bring any community back together, because if Central Village can be together, we all can be together.
Central Village in St. Catherine, uniting for change, using sports and counseling sessions to bring members together and promote peace in the community. To paraphrase a quote from Mother Teresa, they know they may not be able to change the world, but they are casting a stone across the waters and creating a ripple effect.
Together we stand, divided we fall. As the government continues to connect and work with various communities, remember, we're all in this together. That's it for Jamaica Magazine. Send us your feedback on today's program by emailing jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Stay in the know by visiting our website, jis.gov.jm, and keep connected through our social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter. On behalf of the hard-working JIS production team, I'm Arroyo Eubanks. Have a good one.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.